Joff.
You've gone live as me.
Say again?
You've gone live as me.
This
You need
is
to go
actually
on.
live. This is, I was about to say this is supposed to narrow it. That's what it looks like. Right, okay, fine. Right, fine.
Or are you not doing Twitter?
Hello and welcome to a very special broadcast here, going across all of our various social media channels. Many thanks for joining us. I'm here with Paul today and we've got some breaking news. So Mach 2021, as you all know, it was scheduled for next January. It's actually been rescheduled now for the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th of April 2022. So there's obviously a statement from the MTA, and I've got a little quote from CEO of the MTA, James Selker. We believe that this decision, which we have not taken lightly, is in the best interest of the industry and all the people who work in it. Our first priority is, of course, the 30,000 plus people who visit the show, Mach. Paul, obviously it's breaking news, but what's your first impressions?
Well, it's obviously a shame. I mean, Mach is an event that's been running for many, many decades, and it's one that we enjoy, not just to attend, but to exhibit as well. I think the decision is probably the right decision. I think we're all in this, I'm not going to say the word unprecedented because that's the word that everybody's using at the moment, but it is difficult and challenging times. I think the biggest thing is, who was going to attend. And I think if you were looking at it from an exhibitor's perspective, you'd be thinking to yourself, look, normally we get real success from Mach. The footfall's great. You get lots of inquiries, you sell plant, but you're thinking to yourself, actually, are we going to get the 20,000 plus visitors, or is that going to be significantly reduced? Because our big companies going to want their employees to go to these events. Our small companies going to want their employees to go to these events. So, yeah, it's pretty sad times, but that's been the case with exhibitions throughout the whole year, isn't it?
It is. As a company, we're very disappointed. And individuals, well before MTD, I was visiting the Mach show. I think 96 was my first one. You're a bit older than me, Paul, so no doubt. Post.
So you were 30 at that time, didn't we?
Absolutely, yeah. So I do, jokingly aside, enjoy the trade show. It's got the latest technology. It's without question the best in the UK, one of the best globally. But it's the right decision. Health and safety, your well-being of your staff, your family, that has to come first.
I think you're right. I'd be interested to know what the viewers think as well about the show actually being cancelled. The purpose of this, obviously, this live event is to explore further opportunities for people within the industry. But of course, we want you to comment and let us know what your thoughts are. I mean, the only exhibition that I've actually attended this whole year was actually at Stillfab in Dubai, which was in January. How many exhibitions are we normally at when you take an annual? We're at exhibitions every week or every other week of the year. So it really has been a really, really challenging year. And still a few months to go.
Yeah, well, last year, I'm sure it was 28 visits overseas, mainly into Europe. This year, I haven't done the count, but it's probably single figures.
Well, I've got one tomorrow.
Oh, there we are. Where are you going tomorrow?
So tomorrow, MTD Global are off to Poland. So this is quite interesting because there is actually a show happening in Poland. It's called Toolex. Myself and Colin are going. Now, again, this is a show that it's smaller than Mach, a lot smaller than Mach, and they're expecting around about, they've got 180 exhibitors out of what would normally be 600. So it's significantly reduced. They're not expecting a great footfall, but what I think is it's it's a good measure for the for industry in general across Europe, and it will be interesting to see what the exhibition's like. But of course, each country has its own take and it's on these certain things.
Somebody's got to be first, Paul. Somebody's got to be first. But yeah, so for people just joining us on the live stream, Mach has unfortunately been rescheduled, so it won't happen this coming January. So we're looking at Mach 2022, in fact, now will be from the 4th to the 8th of April 2022, and not January of next year as planned. But Paul, we got some news of our own.
We have. Well, the first thing is it's good to be on set with someone that I'm actually smaller than. That's the first thing, because when I was on set yesterday with Gio, it was quite the reverse. But yeah, we got some really exciting news. In February 2021 here, we're going to be holding a series of live events. So the first 2 weeks in February, we're going to be on the road, travelling to machine tool companies, tooling companies, to really explore those technologies that would have been on show during the Mach week. So it's big. It's the right time to do it, and it's the right way to do it, if I'm honest.
Yeah. So MTD Live, everyone uses that term live, but what are we saying we're going to be doing?
So, I mean, obviously, one of the biggest issues at the moment is the social distancing factor, is if you invite people to your facility. Yeah, if you invite people to your facility, you've got to be COVID secure, as we, of course, are here. But are people going to visit? And if they do, what are the implications of that? Now, we're going to be doing a whole host of these live events. As it stands at the moment, there's going to be 10 running from February the 1st right the way through till, that will be well, it won't be the 10th of February because there's weekends involved in that too.
Probably the 12th or 14th.
Or the 14th, that would be about right.
Good research, hot off the press as you'd expect here.
We are going to be broadcasting live from these selected destinations, and we'll be doing that via all the channels that you can see on the screen here. So we'll be doing it like we are now, via YouTube, via Facebook, via Twitter, and of course now, like we are doing here, via LinkedIn. Now, this is a really good opportunity. I have to say, this is a really good opportunity in the face of adversity, for the fact that if you have a technology, if you have something that you were looking to introduce, whether it would have been at Mach next year or whether it would have been in general next year, this is a good way to do it. And it's looking like it's going to be an exciting couple of weeks. Sure.
And again, for the people just tuning into the stream, the reason we are talking about live events next February, Mach 2021, which is scheduled for next January, is unfortunately have to be rescheduled for the 4th to 8th of April 2022, because, of course, due to the coronavirus. But here at MTD, we genuinely think it's the best decision for the members of the association, the people that visit, and of course all their families. Health and safety, after all, is number one.
And what we can't forget is that Mach 2022, actually, it
away.
Sounds a long way away, but it's not that far away. You're talking, what? Well, you're the mathematician here.
18 months.
18 months.
Be here before we know it.
So, but what are you going to do in the meantime?
Exactly. And today we're talking about live, but we do lots of live stuff. In fact, coming up, we have this Thursday, which will be the 1st of October, we've got Walter Live, walter.live.uk here in the studios. We're going to be talking about all their latest cutting tool technology and software solutions. We've also got one physically at Citizen on the 8th of October. So what's going to set these apart from events such as those two?
Well, I think. Firstly, there's a few more than that coming
Sure.
up. So you've got the Walter one, you've got Citizen. We've also got DMG Mori on the 21st and 22nd of October, I believe it is. We've also got one at Star in November again. We've already done one at Star this year in June, which was a real success, which we'll touch on as well. I think the big thing about these live events, Joe, is something that we've really. It's not been easy to act. It's been a real challenge to get them to orchestrate them all, hasn't it? And get all the infrastructure in place to make them work. But once we've been doing them, we've found that the key benefits to them are the fact that you are going to get interaction. Obviously it's a question and answer session there. You're going to be showing a technology, you're going to be showing it live, you're going to have, whether it be an applications engineer or a sales engineer there, he's going to be being able to answer questions that will be posed to him by the audience, which is very different to other methods of trying to get those messages.
That was my next question. Since the coronavirus, there's been everyone's trying different things, and maybe you should try different things, different strategies, but the virtual trade show, I've got my thoughts on it, but we're selling high value equipment, whether it's a cutting tool or whether it's the capital expenditure of a CMM, a CNC machine tool. I don't know how you get that across in animation. It looks pretty, 100% looks pretty, but I'm not sure. Would you buy a machine based on something you can't physically see, unlike video?
I think it's difficult. I think that this has been the right time for these virtual things to start happening, because it's been the only method of communication. I think when it comes to capital equipment, when it comes to a machine, having sold plant many years ago, albeit not many, but having sold machines, I know that one of the things an engineer wants to do is he wants to communicate directly with a technician, an applications engineer, and he wants to do that if he can in front of the machine. So I you know, for me, I can see why these things have been introduced. Will they have legs? Are they going to be kind of the beta Machs, as I think we've mentioned in our programs before? I don't know. I'm not so sure. It's a completely different animal to what we're talking about here.
But if you take the live events, the beauty is, one would hope people watching this, we've got a bit of trust. You know, this isn't our first rodeo. In fact, recently, this week probably, you were at Microlock. They've actually just taken delivery of a machine tool that they saw on one of our live streams. Yeah,
I mean, one of the first ones we did was actually at the Engineering Technology Group, and that was right in just when COVID was happening. I mean, you know, the Engineering Technology Group just launched their brand new range of entry-level machines, the Vulcans, and they basically launched these machines, but there was no way of really getting them to the market because they wanted to have an event, they wanted to open the doors, they wanted to get the engineers in, but they couldn't. So we hosted a live event for them, and it was a real success. We saw dozens and dozens of questions, technical questions about the products. We saw there was over 1,000 people that were pretty much sitting there waiting for the stream to start. So those are statistics that don't lie, because you can see them on the screen as well.
Exactly. And here's a statistic, I can't say it, something that doesn't lie. These two guys are brilliant. I hope I'll be interviewed by one of them soon. Marco. Thanks, Marco. Presumably you're talking about me and not my colleague, but thank you very much. But yeah,
but that ETG one, just coming back, that ETG one was and you then mentioned about the fact that we then have followed up in recent weeks. In fact, I was talking to the guys at ETG the other day. They've sold quite a few of these Vulcan machines now. I'm off to Ireland in November to look at 2 installations. We were there to witness the installation at Microlock the other day of a Vulcan 610L. I'd like to think a lot of that came off the back of, where you can see the event here, came off the back of the show that we did live for them back in, I think it was about June time.
To be honest, obviously, I'm part of the team here at MTD, and that was an eye-opener for me. Of course, we've done live before, but that we put a lot more effort into that show, and that's what we continue to do every live show we will do since that one. It's remarkable. It was remarkable. You're looking at Facebook, you'd be looking at Twitter, you'd be looking at YouTube, all the interaction, people asking engineering questions, not give me a thumbs up or whatever, proper educated engineering questions. People... Days have gone by where they sit in a car and they drive around 20 machine shops. They now select maybe 1, maybe 2 machines, and they maybe even buy it across the internet. But if they don't want to be driving everywhere, do they?
Joe, this is a win-win. This is a win-win for everyone. I mean, the reality is that it's no question. You know, it's very difficult at the moment for some salesmen to get into companies and to see people. You know. Fortunately, we're quite fortunate we get into companies because they see us as a promotional arm as opposed to necessarily trying to sell something to them, and that's a reality. This is a complete win-win because we can get those messages onto the desktops, the laptops, the phones, the iPads of the guys that are making the buying decisions, and from that it leads to sales. So it's not easy to do. Steve's great. The Vulcan event, Steve was great. Steve's great on camera. The guys from Star, where we did the follow-up event with the launch of the SX38. Again, I think we got better and better. If I'm honest, I think that we got a lot more. We got a lot more questions and answers at the Star SX event compared to the Vulcan, but both were a real success.
Sure. And what you don't see here, me, you, Gio, the rest of the team, we get all the glory. But what you don't see here is the 6 people hiding in the background. There's all cables, headphones.
Have you seen what they look like, though?
I've seen what they look like, and that's why they don't appear on screen. But there's Joff, there's Adam, there's Liam, all sat in the TV suite here. They don't get the credit, and that's more resource, that's more expense. It's not just, you can't just say let's do a live show.
No.
You just can't. turning up and doing it is probably one of the more easy bits. It's the infrastructure, it's the promotion leading up to the show.
In addition to that, it's the audience.
Mm-hmm.
You can, one of the things that we do promote heavily, and it will be promoted heavily about our February live, is the fact that it's the audience. You need the audience. If you don't have an audience,
what is the audience? Obviously I know this, but maybe for the people just tuning in.
So immediately upon a live feed, there'll be over 20,000 people notified on YouTube that we're going live. Of that, you may get 1,000 people that are prepped and ready to watch. On LinkedIn, we've got over 10,000 people that will be notified that we're going live. On Facebook, we've got over 10,000 people that will be notified that we're going live. Now, of course, not all of those are going to watch, and a lot of them are going to dip in and they're going to dip out. They're going to ask their questions, they're going to get their answers, and they're going to move along. But that's of benefit to them in the same way it's of benefit to the user as well. Absolutely.
And again, for people, we started this at 1 o'clock. For people just tuning in now, there's been some breaking news within the industry this morning. Mach 2021, which was scheduled for this coming January, has unfortunately been rescheduled and will happen 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8th of April 2022. And obviously this has been done with all the best intentions, and from the MTD crew to the MTA, we generally feel you've done your best and it's the right decision. Health and safety comes first, and we all know about this nasty pandemic. So yeah, but the good news is from the 4th to the 8th of April 2022, that will soon be here. So rest assured the MTA will be doing their bit to put on a big, healthy, safe Mach 2022. Yep. But Paul, just going over old ground somewhat, so what are we doing?
So those that haven't heard yet, for the first 2 weeks of February, we're going to be doing a series of live events where we'll be travelling to tech centres, showrooms around the country. We'll be taking those messages of the technologies that we're going to be promoted either at Mach or throughout 2021, and we'll be live streaming those. We'll be live streaming those across all of our channels: YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter.
Yeah. So it's in terms of like the studio. We're here in the studio today, but that's not always the case, is it? We do a lot, of external shows, and the pros against being here in the studio. But when you're selling machine tools and other equipment, being on site can be a huge advantage, albeit lots of infrastructure issues.
I think the biggest thing is here, one of the things that we did, which was quite interesting at the ETG event, is you were tuned in to what was happening at the show, and basically the camera, when someone asked a question about the turret on the machine, the camera was taken to the turret on the machine so they could actually see the turret on the machine moving and in action. And then Steve was asked a question about what the turret was capable of, and he was able to answer it there and then. So that's one of the biggest advantages. You're almost taking people into that showroom in it's a live environment.
For sure. And we just got comment here from the head of events and member services, good friend James Fudge. And he's put, it was a tough decision regarding the exhibition, but we surveyed exhibitors, and this was the overwhelming decision. Safety of exhibitors and visitors are obviously key drivers to making the decision. And James, we've said it already, but we echo that here. It's a shame. It's a trade show we all adore as a business and, in fact, an industry. But the well-being of your friends, your family, your colleagues, your businesses, and everyone that has to come ahead of everything else. So,
and I do think I've said it already. 2022 is not that far away. It really isn't. Before you know it, we're going to be in 2021. January is going to be here, and then people are going to be looking forward to hopefully a better year in 2021, which then could bode well for 2022.
Yeah, no, who knows? It could be coronavirus. Could be can you remember the coronavirus type thing? Here's hoping. It could be bigger and better than ever.
But industry is still alive. I know your opinion on this, Joe. We're all very strong believers here at MTD that mainstream media really isn't doing justice for our industry. We're travelling the country still safely, compliant to all the government guidelines, and we're seeing engineers, and they're still busy, and they're still buying equipment, they're still buying machine tools, they're still investing in their businesses, and they are of the belief that UK manufacturing is going to be strong again. And in fact, when you look at the statistics, actually UK manufacturing has been one of the least hit sectors, so that's a good.
Absolutely, Paul. This this pandemic, it's been a nightmare. It's been a nightmare for for everyone related to it. But at least well over half the places you go, and they say, do you know what? We're still busy. Maybe they're furloughed, maybe they haven't, but end users are still busy.
Yeah.
But there is this. It's this. You mentioned it before. MSM, mainstream media. They're doing a dreadful job. To be honest with you, don't want to get into politics, good and bad, but in terms of the mainstream media, they've been abysmal. Self-gain possibly, I don't know. But there's so much good news out there. Machine tools are being bought. People looking to improve processes, looking to automation. So
and this is a big time to do that. This is a big time to evaluate your business, look at what you can potentially do to improve your positioning, how you do things, how you produce parts. And you can't do a lot of that without research. So where are you going to do that research? Well, hopefully you're using MTD's channels to do that. Unfortunately, at the moment, it is difficult to do a lot of that, in other ways that you may have done before. What I would say is, just to recap, so we're going to be doing a series of live events starting February the 1st, right the way through to the middle of February. We are thinking about extending that if... depending on demand. We know that half the days have already been filled, so it just depends on the following subsequent 5 days. We may extend it a little bit further, but we'll be travelling up and down the country. We'll be streaming live throughout all of our channels on each of those days in the early February. So I would encourage you to contact us, inquiries@mtdcnc.com, if you're interested in participating and having not just me but him and the rest of the team at your place in February 2021. Until then, I'm sure you'll be seeing a lot more of us over the course of the next few months. But until then, keep safe, and hopefully, as I say, it's a shame.
Before we go there, Paul, we've got a question.
Oh, okay.
Just to stop you. Every Mach show, a big part of it is apprentices. They love the show. We've actually got an apprentice online right now. So Sam Warner is an apprentice quality inspector from Arnold Drag. In fact, we met Sam last Friday at the Swarf and Chip show. Top lad. Afternoon, guys, just tuned in, but I want to know what you guys think would be the next big thing in terms of turning machinery. Do you think that additive manufacturing is a viable means for the future of engineering growth? It's certainly going to play a part, but I tell you what will play a part is live events showing you that type of technology.
Very interesting point, actually, Sam. Technical Corner just released on our channels, or just about to be released, from Ross Milne from RAM Engineering and Tooling. Weingartner range of machines do have the ability to, they are very sophisticated, multitasking and modular. And basically, that is what I would consider to be one of the next generations. Did he mention hybrid manufacturing there?
Essentially, yeah.
Just to check it, Liam, could you take that note across to? So I think the turning machines, the Weingartner machines, are something that should be seen on our technical corners. They're machines where you can change heads, you can put turrets on machines, you can use long boring bars and house them in the back of the machine. So there's a lot of technology that can be seen on our technical corners on that front.
Yeah, so just to wrap up, people just tuning in now, Mach 2021 unfortunately has to be rescheduled for the right reasons, of course, we know the reasons, and it's now rescheduled to the 4th to the 8th of April 2022. It will soon be here, but in the meantime, we'll be keeping you abreast of all the latest technology. So from me and Paul, thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.